Welcome to Joe's Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show, the second edition. We've got some news and rumors for you. It's also the day of Halloween. Stone Cold Steve Austin was originally scheduled to win the Survivor Series tournament known as the Blue Blazer, and he was going to wear the Blue Blazers mask, but that's not going to be happening now. They just scratched that idea, and they have announced the first 7 athletes who will be in the Survivor Series tournament. Undertaker, Kane, Big Boss Man, Ken Shamrock, Stone Cold Steve Austin as himself, Mankind, and The Rock. Plus Barry Windham has left the NWA, and Barry Windham will be replacing Steve Mongo McMichael in the Four Horsemen. Steve Mongo McMichael is a spy right now for the Black and White NWO. And Lord Steven Regal to feud with X-Pac. Look for Lord Steven Regal to win the European Championship from X-Pac. Plus, there will be a Four Corners match on Sunday Night Heat, this upcoming show. The British Bulldog and Jim the Anvil Neidhart have left World Championship Wrestling. WCW hasn't really taken their careers anywhere. Dennis Rodman is suing the World Championship Wrestling. He did not get paid for his Bash at the Beach match with Karl Malone. And every week, as I said last week, we will have a top 10 list of the stars. This week, WCW, top 10. Number 10, Disco Inferno. Usually wouldn't pick the Disco Inferno, just that he's been impressing me lately. Number 9, Scott Hall. Number 8, the TV champ, Chris Jericho. Number 7, the Cruiserweight champion, Billy Kidman. Number 6, Sting. Number 5, Kevin Nash. Number 4, Wrath. Number 3, Hollywood Hogan. Number 2, Bret the Hitman Hart. Number 1, the world champ, Bill Goldberg. Judgment Day In Your House was the most bought In Your House of all time. So look for them to be putting on a good show for the In Your Houses from now on. ZZ Top will be performing on Raw, this next upcoming Raw. Sable versus Jacqueline for the women's title has been added to the Survivor Series. And at this time, we have 2 wrestling guests we'd like to bring out right now. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
If you could just introduce yourselves to the fans.
Thrash. Max the Axe Meanor.
And we've got a few questions for you this week. Who or what inspired you to join the wrestling business?
Oh, wow. Growing up as a kid, you know, watching it all the time, and I had a friend that was getting involved, and he had talked to me about it, and I went down and tried out, and, you know, the rest is history, you know, I'm here. That's it.
Well, for me, basically beating the hell out of somebody and not going to jail.
Good way of putting it. How long have you two been in the wrestling business?
Just about 7 years for me.
Oh, actually about 4. I took a year off, so actually about 4 to 5 years.
5 years. Who was your toughest opponent in your entire career?
Oof.
There hasn't been one yet for us.
Not in a tag team aspect, I mean, because, you know...
There isn't any.
You know, 5 years, you know, I've held the title just about 5 years, close to 5 years, with 2 different partners, you know. And I would say the toughest opponent in my singles career would have to probably be El Diablo.
Okay. And what's your favorite type of wrestling match? Do you have a favorite type that you've been in?
Favorite type?
No holds barred, just regular kitchen sink.
Exactly. You know, hardcore, extreme, you know. It's hard to get shows like that around here because a lot of people don't like to do it because there's so many kids at the shows. But there's a couple of promotions around here now that are starting to bring hardcore out, and you know, hopefully we can get more matches hardcore style.
And in your career, have you held any titles? If so, which ones?
I was NEWA heavyweight champion, television champion, NEWA.
You held them all, didn't you, in that whole organization?
Just about. NEWA 2-time tag team champion, Yankee Pro tag team champion. That's about it.
Pretty much the same as he's going, everything but Yankee Blow.
Okay. Let's see. Which organizations have you wrestled for in the past, and which one are you wrestling for currently?
Wrestled for NEWA, Yankee Pro, UCW, Mayhem. There's one other one out in Massachusetts. I can't think of the name. And currently I'm working for the NEWA, not Yankee, Mayhem, and UCW.
NEWA and UCW and Mayhem right now, but Mayhem right now seems to be the top of my list because it's, to me right now, it seems like they have the best athletes out there. I mean, total hardcore professionals, take it to the limit. They're not worried about if they end up in the hospital or the morgue. They're just out there to basically be the best they are. That's it. That's all I want.
And either in your singles career or now as a tag team, have you guys ever had a finishing move?
The torture rack.
The torture rack.
That's it.
You know.
Nobody's got up from it yet.
Do you enjoy watching other organizations like WWF, WCW, or ECW?
ECW I love watching only because of the fact that it's so hardcore, and it's, you know, you see guys give their all without regard to their body, you know, and their own safety. I mean, Taz, Sabu, I mean they're
Top of the line.
they're top of the line down there, you know. I mean, you can't take nothing away from those guys. WCW I have no use for. It's a total
too.
joke. WWF, you know, once in a while if I'm bored, I'll flip through, you know, the channels, and I'll stop and check it out. But
I'd rather watch Bugs Bunny. Tell you the truth. I mean, serious. He's right. He's 100% right. You watch an ECW match, these guys are like, I mean, the organization's not as big as WWF and everything, but these guys, it's a soap opera joke. I mean, ECW, I mean, he took the words out of anybody's mouth. These guys are the pros. They are the wrestlers. They go out there. I mean, half these guys at the end of their match, they don't go home. They go to the hospital. WWF, where do they go? They go to a massage parlor or something to lay down. What's that? I mean, come on.
And in the near future, where can we see you two wrestle?
Mayhem is the next. No, UCW.
actually, next Friday night, we'll be wrestling for UCW, and I believe that is at the Botten Street Community Center, if I'm not mistaken.
Any other ones you got?
We got a list, but we didn't take the list with us.
Yeah, we
So
don't
it's a
have the show
figure
dates with us.
pretty well booked up with everybody until the new year, and even after the new year,
Yeah.
it's just everywhere. We got
We probably have about 12 to 15 shows between now and the first of the year, and most of those shows with Mayhem and UCW.
Mayhem. We got a hall on Douglas Pike, VFW Hall, right before the Twin Rivers. We'll be doing shows once a month there, so if you just keep up on your wrestling, you'll know when it is.
And do you enjoy, well, obviously you enjoy tag team wrestling more than singles. You are the champs. And,
Good all around.
yeah.
Tag team. We got to, if I say, as far as I see, the best tag team out there. Singles wise, even this kid can't be even beat in a singles match. I'm pretty new to singles. I've done old tags, but him with tag, the best partner you'd ever want. Singles, you got to run for your money there too. You got to ring with him. Either way, you better count your dollars and make sure your life policy's paid up in either match you get in with him.
Have you guys ever had any injuries in the sport? I'm sure you have. Just which ones have you had that stood out the most?
I busted my eye open a couple of times, had to have stitches, broken fingers, bruised ribs, stuff like that. Fortunately, nothing that would have to put me on the shelf for a long amount of time.
My knee and a concussion so far. My list has been small. Thank God.
And you probably don't want to get into this, but how do you feel about the Ultimate Warrior returning to WCW recently?
It's another joke.
I have.
Please, keep him on the shelf. Where's a man bear for 6 years? I don't know, but I wish he'd go back.
The only time I've heard about the Warriors, in fact, people talking about it. Like I said, I don't watch WCW because I think it's a joke. They got a lot of wasted talent down there that they're not doing anything with. They're not really giving the push that they deserve. They'd be better off going to an organization that would give them the push that they need to elevate their careers, such as, Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit. Those guys, they work their asses off.
Incredible.
And, then they're not getting the respect that they're due. It's just a shame.
And do you guys have any relatives that are in the wrestling business? Are you the only ones?
No, I'm the only one.
I'm the only one.
And which state do you come from?
Massachusetts.
Rhode Island.
And will you be watching the Extreme Championship Wrestling pay-per-view tomorrow night?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
hardcore. That's it. Me, my six-pack, and my box of potato chips will be right there.
If you ever got an offer from the World Wrestling Federation, ECW, WCW, would you accept or would you stay right where you are? And if so, which one would you pick to go to?
ECW, it's hands down.
ECW hands down.
and WCW. If I want something like that, I'll sit home and watch Days of Our Lives. Please.
I have been contacted by WWF. I was invited to a few shows by Jim Cornette, and things just didn't pan out. It wasn't what I was really looking for.
And are there any challenges you want to make out to any stars you'll be fighting in the near future?
Hell no, ain't no challenge. I mean, I mean, it's plain and simple. I mean, we get up in front of you. That's it. What you see is what you get. And, you know, I mean, you want to jump in our pond, you better learn how to swim because you're gonna drown, boy.
That's it. I mean, we're not fancy. We're not fancy wrestlers. We don't come in with all our spray paint, saying this, that, blah, 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 blah. We wear our jeans, we wear our boots, we wear our T-shirts. We go in there, and just like he says, you better have a life preserver or learn how to swim because we don't hold back on nobody or anybody. We don't care how big, how small, how many years you have in it, how many months you have in it. You put your little name on that contract. Remember to sign the will.
And do you guys have a big feud right now? Is there any certain stars that you keep wrestling?
Right now in Mayhem, we've been kind of
Messing with the Dogs of War, the
feuding
little
with,
puppies.
feuding with the Dogs of War and Heavenly Johnny Angel and Altitude. You know, but I mean, Altitude, you know, maybe 110 pounds soaking wet with rocks in his pockets. I mean, come on. And you got the other idiot,
Johnny Angel.
Johnny Angel.
He's going to see God sooner than he thinks.
He comes in the ring with nipple rings. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, that's like, ding, see ya, you stupid bastard.
And then you get the Dogs of War. What are they, Dogs of War? I mean, you ever see these guys? Perfect name. You know, little puppies, like little puppies. Get a paper, whack them on the nose. It'll be history. So what? There's 3 of them.
You know what they do with dogs?
Forget about it. That's it. Hey, God, the big guy, he walks around with a shirt on that says, I made God submit. But doesn't he realize God was afraid to get in the ring with us?
Huh. That's right.
Please.
You wouldn't wrestle us.
They wouldn't. 3-on-2, and they still said no.
And have you guys ever wrestled Decolation? I had them on my last show. They said they're the best tag team.
We wrestled them at the second to last UCW show. I was in a singles match. They jumped in. You know, they did some. They whacked me a few times. I issued a challenge for a mystery department because he had been out for a while. I brought him back, and we took it to him. I mean, we just annihilated him. I mean, there was no competition there. I mean, you got the little one that's about 4 foot nothing. You know, he's just about as wide as he is tall. I mean, we would call them the Weebles because it's just like boom, they spring back up. You know, their ass is just as round. You know, it's just like.
As soon as they come right back up, we knock them right back down.
I mean, they were no competition whatsoever. I mean, if they call themselves tag team champions, I mean that's a joke. Only because of the fact that I mean they have no skill, and they have no heart when you get in the ring. You know, you go out there. I mean, you gotta give it your all. I mean, these guys are going out there. You know, it's like, okay, come on, let's go. And it's like, you're gonna get hurt, buddy.
That's why we got a lot of tag teams that won't get in the ring with us, and a lot of guys that back out from us because they know we walk in that ring. If he's going singles, if I'm going singles, if we're going tag, you're getting 100%, no matter how tired. I mean, I've done matches where I've been up all night long working and then come in and wrestle. It's like we don't hold back. That's just the name of the game right there. That is it. We're not out to impress anybody.
This ain't no popularity contest. We're just out there to improve ourselves and be the best that we can be. And if that means we gotta, hurt people in the way, I mean, hey, that's too bad for them. I mean, but I'm not gonna let anybody step in my way on my way to the top, only because of the fact that I've worked too long and too hard to get to where I am now.
And you said you respected Taz, Sabu, Malenko, Benoit. Are there any other stars you respect in the sport of wrestling?
Thrash, that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect my partner.
I mean, as far as the independents go, it's the ones I do have the utmost respect for would be Dave Padula, Livewire. I mean, I mean, he is the extreme white boy. I mean, that kid is he is the hardcore man for the New England area. I mean, he is great. Dream Lord, El Diablo, Bad Boy Billy. I mean, these guys, I started with these guys, and I have the utmost respect for them. I mean, I've wrestled them. I've wrestled with them. I've partied with them. I mean, I've toured with them. I mean, these guys you have to have the utmost respect for because they are so professional when they get in the ring, and, they're just great. And the Trouble Man, too. I mean, the Trouble Man, he's a great guy. They're like brothers to me,
And is there a certain arena or town you enjoy wrestling in the most to get the biggest crowds or anything?
Not really. Just any place we go to wrestle. Like I said, we don't care if there's 5 people sitting in that audience or if there's 5,000 people sitting in that audience. Going back to what we said before, we walk in that ring, it's 100%. If there's 5 people, if there's 5,000, that's it. We don't care. We don't care what town, what state, wherever. Like I said, it's easier to go in the ring and beat the hell out of somebody than going to a bar and beating somebody up and going to jail. This way I get paid and I go home at the end of the night.
Plus, you're going to drop 40 or 50 in the bar, too.
Yeah, at least that.
And do you guys travel a lot all around the state? And
Yeah, we travel all over Rhode Island and southeastern Mass.
Basically, wherever they want us to
You
go,
know-
they just pick up the phone, call us, we'll go.
Yeah, in December I'll be traveling up to Lewiston, Maine to do a show at UCW, and hopefully that'll go over well. But we go wherever we're booked. I mean, that's it. I mean, you got a show here, you can't say, well, I'm not gonna wrestle there. I'm not gonna wrestle there. I mean, you got to get your face out there, and you got to do what you got to do. So we go where they tell us to go.
And do you remember what year your very first pro match was in?
Yeah, my first pro match was 92, August of 92. I remember that. And we did that. That was a benefit show we had done for a little kid who had leukemia, I believe. And I still remember his name. I believe his name was Timmy Marshall.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember your first pro debut?
Same as him. Basically came in at the same time. I just started training a little bit earlier than him, but he came in a little bit later. But I made it up. It was for Timmy Marshall. We did our first show, and we did not start out as a tag team. We were both singles wrestlers. We really didn't know each other at the time. I knew of him because I wrestled with them in the organizations. We got together as a torture squad, pretty much destroyed everybody in our paths. Then I was out for like a year and a half, a year on an injury. I came back, and I've been back actually only 6 to 7 months now, and it was like we never left. It's like I never left. I mean, if they told me tomorrow I'd have to have another tag team partner, I'd never fight tag again in my life. It's the only guy I'll fight tag with because there's nobody I could get out there that I could work with like that. He's just one of the best tag team partner you could ever find.
And do you currently have a manager, or have you ever had a manager in your career?
Oh, we have one of the best managers going, the Capinator. I mean, he was the manager's team. I mean, he was the elite of the managers.
Definitely went over that guy, Padre. That's it.
Padre.
That's it.
And then when he was out, when I was tagging with Bad Boy, we had Rex Havoc as a manager, another great manager. But I mean, we don't need nobody to manage us. I mean, we don't need somebody to tell us to go, all right, you got to beat them up, you got to win. I mean, we don't need that. Managers, I mean, managers are for suckers. I mean, they take your money. I mean, they give you a little reach around action. I mean, come on. But I do got to say, I mean, there is one man, I mean, we had the Capinator who was excellent. I had Rex also who was excellent, and the other guy that I would give serious consideration to being a manager would be the Reverend, because he's great. He's hilarious. I love the Reverend. He's great.
Yeah, he is kind of funny looking. I'd agree with that. See, we also have our disagreements every now and then, but like I said, we get in a ring. That's it. But he is right. The Reverend is a good manager. He's got his stable. That's
But
fine
I mean,
with
his
him.
stable's a little weak. But I mean, that's not his fault. I mean, because of the lack of talent, because of the fact that there's so many organizations in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts area, it's hard to nail down talent. So I'm not taking away anything from some of the Reverend's guys.
No, take it away. Take it away.
I mean, he's got to get rid of that other moron, Pierre Lamonti. I mean, no talent, no skills. I mean, no heart. I mean, how do you do this? He breaks 3 of his own ribs in the ring. I mean, how do you do that? You break 3 of your own ribs. How do you do that?
Usually we're breaking their ribs. I mean, come on.
I don't know. I mean, that's a mystery to me. And he's supposed to be a consummate professional, WWF star, Pierre Lamonti. I broke 3 of my own ribs.
Yeah, but he never told us that the WWF star was sweeping the back room. I mean, come on. Here he's going. He's the guy that's selling the beers and the hot dogs and stuff. He puts a little Mountie outfit on. He goes.
And Like I said, when are you coming to the East Providence area? Is there any time you're coming closer to East Providence where a lot of us fans will be seeing you?
East Providence. I don't actually tell you
I'm
the
not
truth.
sure.
I don't think I've ever done a match in East Providence. It's always been like North
Well,
Providence.
actually, UCW will be doing some shows at the PCD Fieldhouse, I believe, for the Meeting Street School, and I believe that's 2 shows in December.
And when did you start? Have you always been watching wrestling your entire life, or did it just happen when you made your debut, you got interested in it?
Watched it all my life. I watched it all my life, and then, I mean, like anybody else, you're watching on TV. Oh, look at it. Oh, look, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe that. And actually, when you get in the ring and you train and you do right, and then you put your heart and soul in, and like he says, WWF, WCW is a joke because you know what you're going through in the ring with these hardcore guys, and then you watch these guys. It's like, please. In my list, ECW is at the top. WWF and WCW are like, they're not even on the list. They're just like down there. Get them out of there.
And is there a certain thing you would like to accomplish before you leave the sport of wrestling someday?
Yeah, the only gold I really have, and to tell you the truth, there's only one guy I really want to wrestle. Win, lose, draw, I don't care, 100% is Ric Flair. I mean, he's getting older, but I'd like to have one match with Ric Flair in my career. That's my only actual gold.
Anybody for you?
No, I mean, wrestling any big name, is always going to be, that star on your resume, and I would love to do that, but if it doesn't happen, hey, I'm not worried about it, I mean, I have a lot of fun wrestling the guys I wrestle around here, and probably if I look forward to wrestling somebody would be Dave Padula. I mean, he is just, I'd like to get into a hardcore match with him again. We've only wrestled once, and but under the circumstances, I mean, he's such a great guy. A great professional, a great hardcore legend in this area that I would love to work with him in a hardcore match because I think that would, put the icing on my cake.
Yeah, well, I tried that. I tried that 3 weeks ago. They had me booked with him. We're in the ring. The ring broke. 2 minutes into the match, the ring broke. Tell me, I wait 5 years of my life to wrestle this kid. I get a shot and it breaks. But there'll be another day.
Well, we thank you too
Thank you.
for coming out here for our show. Hope to have you again. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you.
And this time we'd like to bring 2 more great stars of wrestling. How you doing? If you could just introduce yourselves to the fans.
I'm the Reverend, manager of champions. Thank you.
I'm Max the Butcher Branagan.
And who do you 2 respect in the wrestling business?
Who do I respect? Well, first of all, I think I respect the most person is Thrash. He's like up there in my book. In my career as a wrestler and as a manager, I think that Thrash has given his all. Every time he goes out there, like they said earlier, he goes out and gives 150 million%. He's like one of the top athletes. Max Meanor, I give him my respect, and also, like he said, Dave Padula, which I have managed and brought him to the Continental Championship twice.
The person I most respected isn't with us anymore. It's Bruiser Brody. But locally, I respect Thrash. He was my toughest opponent I've ever had, and I really respect Mick Foley. He started wrestling in bingo halls, and now he's at the big time. He's with the elite, and I really give him a lot of respect. He took a garbage gimmick, and he made it into something.
And in the wrestling world, are you known as fan favorites or heels?
I can't stand the fans. There could be nobody in the crowd. I could really care less.
Fans, what are those? You don't make money, you don't make friends out there, you don't need that. All you need is somebody to watch your back. That's what I do. I watch all the wrestlers' backs, and I make sure that they have the titles, the gold. That's why I am the manager of champions.
And well, is there a certain arena, like I said earlier on, that you would like to go to, or that you've already been to, or a town that you get more fans at?
West Warwick High School was the best we've been to. That was the night that gorgeous Gino Giovanni, trashed West Warwick.
You really don't pay attention to your questions, do you? You just ask us about the fans. And then you say, is there any arena where we worry about the fans? I don't give a damn about the fans, all right? And I hope everybody out there understands this. I don't care if it's a parking lot, a bingo hall, or the roof of this place. I'll fight anywhere I want against anybody I want. And that's an open challenge to anybody out there. To Meanor, to Thrash, to anybody. I'll fight you anywhere I want. Bring it on.
And is there a certain thing you'd like to accomplish in the wrestling world before you retire someday?
Yeah, I want to manage the original Torture Squad, Thrash and Meanor. That would be my goal, and we could be tag team champions forever.
With as many belts as I can and kick as many asses as I can.
Well put. When did you start watching wrestling? Have you been watching it since you have been little kids, or?
I started watching it when I was a little kid, you know, and like they had said earlier, you know, you watch it and you think, God, I'd like to be out there doing that. And this is my dream. I started the NEWA about 8.5 years ago, and then I sold out to Mr. D'Alessandro, the commissioner, you know, and I worked with him. But, yeah, wrestling's always been in my blood.
Always watched wrestling since the day I was born until the day I die.
And do you enjoy watching any other wrestling shows, WWF, ECW, WCW, the big three?
ECW, that's probably the best on my list. WWF, WCW. If they could get their storyline straight, it might be a good thing to watch. But other than that, no. And NEWA and...
Personally, I don't like watching the big two. ECW I watch and I respect, but I would rather watch the independents because that's where you get guys that give 110%. They wrestle with injuries. I've wrestled with an injury. A lot of people don't realize how many people in the back have nagging injuries, but WWF and WCW, they don't go out there and give 110% because they get their paycheck whether they wrestle or not. We don't. We have to show up, we have to fight, and then we get our paychecks.
And have you two ever held any titles in the wrestling sport? If so, which ones?
Rhode Island champion, Gorgeous Gino. Gino retired me from wrestling. That's when I became a manager. Tag team champion twice with Inferno at the time, who's now part of, what's that tag team? Deculance. Yeah. And I did beat Thrash, and I have beaten Thrash for the TV title once, and that was my ultimate goal, to wrestle my idol.
I've won the tag team championships recently and lost them recently due to Commissioner D'Alessandro screwing me and the Reverend's camp once again.
It seems like Rocco D'Alessandro isn't that popular in the...
When we get this gentleman into the commissionership, it's going to be a lot.
Well, you know how it is. That's why I'm running for the commissioner now, because I want to make sure that everything is, well, everything goes my way. That's what I meant to say.
You mean on the level? On the level.
On the level, yeah. The Reverend's level.
And who do you dislike the most in the wrestling sport?
In the whole sport, who I like?
Dislike.
Actually, I really don't dislike anybody in this sport because I think it's really, you know, it's a thing to get out there every night and you put your body on the line. I don't like any of the WCW stars for what they're letting Eric Bischoff do to them.
I don't dislike any other wrestlers as a professional level. Personally, I'm not going to get into that, but professionally, if you go in the ring, you're risking your neck. But if you want to listen to people like Vinnie Mac and Eric Bischoff, well, you really got to get your priorities in order.
And how do you two feel about the Ultimate Warrior returning on WCW recently?
Did he return?
Who's? Does he still wrestle?
Oh, James Howard, yeah.
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior. No.
Next question.
Are there any relatives in the wrestling sport you've had over the years? Or are you the only two?
Never. My ex-wife used to wrestle alligators, but that's a different story.
And are there any challenges you'd like to make at this time to anybody out there?
Yeah, I'd like to make one special challenge, and I think these people know who they are. Wolverine and Alfredo. Every time that the Reverend's camp goes up against you guys, there's always some special stipulation you guys put on me. It's not going to happen next time. Next time, we're walking away with the gold.
Same thing, Wolverine and Alfredo. Those titles aren't going to be around your waist for much longer, so get ready to give them up.
And which state do you two come from?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Have you ever held the world title or want? Well, you haven't held the world title. Would you want? No, I just remember. Would you want to hold the world title?
The Reverend's kind of, makes you nervous, but calm down, don't worry.
You notice he's got a referee shirt on? Look at that. Huh? We could always use a new referee.
Always.
Because we get rid of Perez. He can't see 3 foot in front of
Then
him.
there's that big, fat, no, mind.
Big,
Go on.
tiny. Yeah, big something. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've also got a couple more questions for you here. Who inspired you, if anybody? Who or what inspired you to join the wrestling sport?
Just watching it on TV, that's why I decided I thought we should start the NEWA, like I said, 8.5 years ago. And it's I mean, we've had our ups and downs, and I've been through a lot of wrestlers, but the guys that that are with us now, I think are the top, like, they said El Diablo, Dave Padula, Trouble Man, Thrash, Meanor. Those guys, I've seen them every night put their heart and soul on the line. That's, it's just the independent guys that make me want to go out there and do what I do.
Same thing, all the independents. Mainly, I respect anybody who wrestled for the old world class, because that, to me, was the beginning of wrestling, when it really started putting wrestling on the map, until the big two had the bucks to take it over.
Do you have any plugs you'd like to make? Any stops you're going to be making East Providence area?
No, I don't know if we're going to be in East Providence, but there's always a chance. You should give Mr. D'Alessandro a call at the NEWA, and I'm not really sure the hotline number because I don't have to call it because I got my own cell phone. So, it doesn't make it. But, yeah, if anybody in East Providence out there wants to put on a show, get a hold of the NEWA, because we'll gladly come, charities, whatever you want to do.
What are we, December 5th?
Oh, yeah, December 5th at the
$3 sports bar. That's
Cranston.
one of the places. That's the only one.
Maybe that's where you can make your debut. I'll pay you money to. No, don't worry about it.
And actually, I've got the hotline. It's 942-7359 if you want to get in touch with Rocco D'Alessandro. And which organizations have you wrestled for other than the New England Wrestling Alliance?
NEWA strictly, but I've been asked to go to UCW to manage Decadence, because I've heard they just don't know how to talk, and of course the Reverend knows how to say everything nice and smooth.
The NEWA and the now defunct GCW. You remember that little organization that had Pee Wee League?
Global World. I'm sorry, global GCW. That's all right.
And well, how did you get into the wrestling business?
I got into it because I was tired of watching and I was tired of watching WWF, WCW, and I knew I could make a statement into the business. I started out 8.5 years ago, and I just wanted to, because I knew there were guys out there that had a lot of talent, and I've seen them come and I've seen them go, but that's what got me to go into business, was because I thought I could make a difference.
The thing that got me into it is the love of the sport, and that's right, I did say sport. If anybody out there who doesn't think it's a sport, you can come see me and meet me in the back lot. And there's a little TV show coming on, The Secrets of Professional Wrestling. Any of those guys want to come see me, the back lot, anytime.
And well, the New England Wrestling Alliance and the UCW, I heard, has a little feud going on, the Declaration and.
Not so much a feud. I think what happened was they weren't seeing eye to eye, and somebody thought they could do this and they could do that, and it's all one big mess right now. I mean, the guys at UCW, they know how I feel about them. I respect them. I've worked with them. I was like brothers to me. We've gone to many shows and we've seen, different things. We've laughed, we've cried. They're like family to me. But there's not really like a major thing going on between them.
And I know who you manage now. Who have you managed in the past in your career? Do you remember any guys?
El Diablo, he was the Continental Champion. Damian King, Dave Padula, he was the Continental Champion. Pierre the Mountie, who is the Heavyweight Champion. Marvin the Maniac, Trouble Man, he was my champion for almost 2 years. Pretty Boy Hernandez, I took him to the Rhode Island champion. So, those are the guys that I respect the most, the guys that put their body on the line every night.
You're not going to put that mic over here because I don't manage. Come on, pay attention. Come on, you got your little questions. Come on.
Do you guys have a favorite type of match that you like to be in?
Not really. I'm outside the ring, but what I like to see is the hardcore stuff. Hardcore. Thrash and Dave Padula. Those two are the best hardcore people you're ever going to find here in Rhode Island.
Same for you, hardcore wrestling?
Don't have a favorite match. If I'm in it, it's my favorite.
And you two have a finishing move? A hold that you are best at?
When I wrestled, it was the DDT.
I use the Asian spike.
And is there something you'd like to accomplish before a goal you have before you leave the sport of wrestling?
Like I said, managing Thrash and Mr. Meanor, that would be my ultimate goal.
Just keep on doing what I'm doing, and as long as I still love it.
Well, we thank you coming out here.
Thank you.
Hope you come again. Joe's Professional Hardcore Wrestling Talk Show. We'll see you at our next show.
Yo.
Welcome to Joe's Hardcore Professional Wrestling Talk Show. We are here with our third edition. My co-host, Jay Patello.
How you doing? It's Jay here.
We're here with a great independent star, professional wrestling. Would you please introduce yourself to the fans?
Yeah, how you doing? My name's Jose Perez. For some of you that know me,